What's up guys, welcome to the video. We have an interval workout today, so this video is pretty much just going to be all about intervals. Let's jump into it. Okay, so interval training is simply high intensity periods followed by a short period of rest. And you can do that a couple of different ways. You can do it based on time, or you could do it based on distance. And here are a couple of examples of that. You could do like a 4-minute interval followed by a 2-minute recovery or rest, or you could do a 400-meter interval followed by a 2-minute rest. Those are just a couple of different ways you can do intervals, and then after you do one set of that would be one interval. So 400 meters followed by a 2-minute rest, that would be one interval. Then you just do that for an X number of times depending on your workout or your goal. So interval training is super important if you're trying to work on building your speed and to get faster and holding those faster speeds for longer, because like these sessions are really intense and each interval is super intense. You're gonna be out of breath after each interval. That's why you need the 2-minute recovery or rest in between each interval, because you can't hold these paces for a long amount of time. And for me, for instance, for example, I'm trying to run a sub 5-minute mile, and right now I obviously can't hold a sub 5-minute mile for the amount of time I need to be able to complete that mile in under 5 minutes. So what we're doing is we are running at these sub 5-minute mile paces for a shorter amount of time until we can gradually build up my endurance at these speeds, so where I can eventually hold these paces for a little bit longer and longer and longer until we can eventually hold it to where we can complete a sub 5-minute mile. Okay, so the warm-up is going to be super important, so don't skip that for these interval sessions, because again, these are high intensity periods and you're gonna be more prone to injury during these sessions than you would be just an easy run. So I like to do is just a 15 to 20 minute jog around the track, and then we will get some high knees, butt kicks, leg swings, and some strides before we begin our workout. And our workout today is gonna be 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And each session, interval session, is going to be 5 minutes, and then we'll have a 2-minute rest, then 4 minutes, 2-minute rest, and so on. And during this workout, I'm going to try to maintain the same pace throughout the entire workout, or as the time decreases from like 5 minutes to 4 minutes, get a little bit faster in my paces. So yeah, that's the workout, and let's just jump into it. So we just finished that workout and we have made it to the gym, but I figured I would go over my times for you guys during that workout. So during the 5-minute interval, had an average pace of 5:50. 4-minute interval had an average pace of 5:43. 3-minute interval had an average pace of 5:40. 2-minute interval had an average pace of 5:33. 1-minute interval had an average pace of 5:18. Now those, I'm happy. I continue to decrease my time or get faster with every interval session, but still not where we want to be at right now. But that's okay. I mean, I had a strong ass headwind during like half of the track, so I mean that played a little bit of a role in it, but I mean it is what it is. That's where we're at right now, but I'm gonna pick up this video back in a few days whenever we hit another interval session, so I'll just see you then. So it has been a few days. We're about to get into another interval session, and I figured we can talk about where to do your sessions at. So it's really important to find a place that you're not gonna be interrupted, like a sidewalk. If you have to run through some intersections and wait at a crosswalk and stuff, that's not gonna be an ideal place to do interval sessions or to get the most out of your interval sessions. So it's really important, like if you can find a track to do, that's perfect. You can run circles all day without being interrupted on a track, or maybe just a public park that, again, like you don't have any interruptions, like having to stop at crosswalks and stuff like that. So that's really important for these interval sessions to get the most out of them. Okay, so when to do your interval sessions is really just up to you, but since these are like high intensity workouts, they're gonna be more taxing on your body than an easy run would be. So you really wanna make sure to get the most out of your interval session, you're gonna wanna have an easy day before the day you're having an interval session, and also you're gonna wanna have an easy day after your interval session. So it really just depends on you and how you wanna fit that into your schedule. You can do once a week or you can do it twice a week. But again, you wanna kinda sandwich your interval session with some easy runs. But today we're gonna have an interval session. It's gonna be 1-1-1, 10, 1-1-1. So this is gonna be pretty fast 1 minute intervals. And then after we do 3 of them, we're gonna have a 10-minute tempo at a pretty comfortably uncomfortable pace. And then we will end it with 3 more 1 minute intervals. And they're gonna be fast. And we're gonna try to maintain that speed for all 6 of those 1 minute intervals. And then we will have a cool down after that. About to get into a warm up, and yeah, let's just jump into this workout.
Stop playing with a boss like that. I don't react well when you talk like that. Put the money on the phone, then call right back. I don't really want to do the small talk like that. Yeah. Stop playing with a boss like that. I don't react well when you talk like that. Put the money on the phone, then call right back. I don't really want to do the small talk like that. Yeah.
Okay, so we just finished our interval sets. I'm gonna give you my times for those, and then we have a cool down. But our first set, we had an average pace of 4:54. Second set, 4:48. Third set, 4:47. On our 10-minute tempo run, we had an average pace of 6:51. And then back to our 1 minute intervals. Set number 4, 4:55. Set number 5, 4:57. Then our last set, 4:55. So we just wrap that up. That sucks. Now let's get into the cool down. Okay, so we just finished a 15-minute cool down. I like to keep my cool downs 10 to 15 minutes, just a light jog for 15 minutes. And it's really important to properly cool down after your workouts or really any of your runs to help reduce soreness the next day and also help reduce the risk of injury. If you're injured, you're not gonna be fast because you're not gonna be able to run as many miles as you need to get fast. So like, cool downs are super important for longevity and just to keep you in the game. So we just finished a 15-minute cool down. Now I'm headed to the gym to do some stretching, and I will see you after that. Okay, so I figured I could just give you guys a few simple tips for interval training, or just some small things I've picked up while incorporating interval sessions into my training program each week for, I guess, almost a year now. And super simple tips. Tip number 1, it's gonna be your interval sessions do not have to be super complex, especially if you're a beginner. A good beginner interval workout I can think of top of my head right now is just 2 to 3 minute intervals with a 2-minute rest, and just do that 6 to 8 times. Good, simple, basic interval workout that I could even benefit from right now probably, and not super complex. Tip number 2 is gonna be, you don't need a fancy running watch to do these interval sessions. You could basically just use a stopwatch. And even I like to use my watch as a stopwatch whenever I'm doing my interval sessions for distance, like 400-meter intervals, because my watch isn't 100% accurate. So I'd rather it be more accurate with me just stopping the time by myself. Another tip, if you do happen to have a fancy running watch, which you probably already know this, but you can use the app on your phone, regardless of which watch you have, and plug the actual workout in your phone and then transfer it to your watch. So you can just start the workout, then it'll just run smoothly from beginning to end of whatever workout you decide to put in there. Tip number 3 is gonna be the shoes you use for your interval sessions. I like to use the shoes I plan on running my race or my PR in. If I'm gonna practice running fast, I wanna practice running fast with the shoes I plan on running fast in. That should make sense. Hopefully it makes sense the way I said it. But if you're gonna practice running fast, you're gonna wanna practice running fast using the shoes you plan on racing in. Tip number 4, it's getting hot here in Alabama. It's gonna be like 90 degrees next week, I believe. So if you have like a PR or a race coming up, if you have a PR coming up, I hope we have some PRs coming up, but if you have a race coming up and you're trying to PR, or you just have a race in general you want to perform well in, it's going to be hot, so you probably want to get some exposure to the heat before your actual race. Instead of, I mean, running at night would be really nice right now to avoid the heat, but I mean,
put yourself in that fire, get used to that heat, so whenever it comes race day, the heat doesn't just demolish your body and if you're not used to heat.
Okay, so while I was finishing that clip, my card is full. And if I accidentally press format on the screen right now and deleted all the footage I have, well, if you're watching this video, I probably didn't do that, but I was wrapping up the video anyway. So if you haven't ran in the heat, if you're not used to heat, you want to run in the heat to expose yourself to that before your race, especially if your race is gonna be hot, blah, 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 blah. But that's pretty much gonna wrap up the video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.
I don't give a fuck what anyone else may be, I bet on me, bitch. Stop playing with a boss like that, I don't react well when you talk like that. Put the money on the phone, then call right back. I don't really wanna do the small talk like that, yeah.